Hello, welcome back, class. So we just talked about fungi and we talked about lichens. And lichens give us a nice little leeway into talking about algae. So algae are going to be organisms that belong to several different kingdoms, but they are all photoautotrophic. That means that they're able to perform photosynthesis. They're also able to take up minerals and other nutrients by diffusion from the regions around where they live. While they are photoautotrophic, they are photosynthetic. They do have cellulose. They are similar in a lot of ways to plants, but they lack any true tissues. They don't have roots, they don't have stems, they don't have leaves. They are single-celled organisms. So they are not plants, although they are related as plant ancestors. Very few algae produce toxins. Most of them are aquatic. They're going to be found in mainly water regions, both salt water and fresh water. One very important thing that algae do is in the photosynthesis, they produce 80% of the oxygen that our Earth has. Within our algae are dinoflagellates. These are unicellular algae that are collectively called plankton. So phytoplankton more specifically. And then algal blooms are when a bunch of algae start blooming. They start growing a lot. And this is just a periodic change, a periodic increase in the growth of planktonic algae. And it's going to be due to an increased access to the things that that plant needs to grow. So increase in light will spur algae to grow. Increase in temperature, make it nice and warm where algae are more comfortable to grow. And an increase in nutrients that they need. Algae include brown algae, which is kelp. This is commonly used as a thickener in foods. Red algae, which is harvested for agar, which is what we use in lab, and as carrageenan, which is also used in food products. Then there are green algae, diatoms, which we just talked about, and dinoflagellates. One thing about dinoflagellates is some species are able to produce a neurotoxin that causes paralytic shellfish poisoning. If you remember talking about that in chapter 15, the algae produces this toxin. It's eaten by shellfish, then people eat the shellfish, and then they've ingested the toxin indirectly. So how do algae differ from bacteria, and how do algae differ from fungi? Next, we have protozoans. Protozoans are very diverse. They belong to several different kingdoms. Most of them are chemoheterotrophic, so they are going to rely on an outside source for both their energy and for their carbon. Although some protozoans are photoautotrophic, they're going to be able to absorb their nutrients by absorption or ingestion. All are unicellular, many are motile. A lot of how protozoans are grouped is based on their motility structures. They're either non-motile, or they have cilia, or they make pseudopods. Parasitic protozoans are often able to form resistant cysts. So a cyst is a structure that is resistant to a lot of desiccation or drugs that allows a bacteria to protect itself from its environment. It also means that it can go between species from host to host and survive outside of a host in a cyst until it gets picked up by the next host. Many protozoans are difficult to treat because they are eukaryotic. So a lot of the things that we would target to stop the growth of a protozoan also has the possibility of affecting us. And they do use complex life cycles going from host to host. So they might go from a rat to a cat to a person. They might go from a snail to a person. There's different types of protozoans with different types of hosts that will go through different species to complete their whole life cycle. Protozoans can divide asexually through fission, which is an equal division of its cytoplasm, through budding, which is an unequal, forms a little bud, and from schizogony. There's a new term we haven't talked about. Schizogony is when multiple fission events are occurring at the same time. So the nucleus is doing multiple divisions, you get multiple copies of the nucleus, the cytoplasm surrounds the nuclei, and you end up with multiple cells. There's also some sexual reproduction reported in some. So protozoans are wild, they do whatever they feel like doing to multiply. We just talked about cysts. They're a protective capsule that some protozoans produce under adverse conditions. So if there's food, moisture, or oxygen that's lacking, if the temperatures are too hot or too cold, if there are dangerous chemicals. And a cyst also allows it to survive outside of a host. And some organisms actually have to be secreted. So it's left in a cat dropping, then the person comes and changes the litter box, and then they have gotten that protozoan cyst into their body. Some important protozoans medically. First is amoeba. Amoebas can cause amoebic dysentery, which is bloody diarrhea, or amoebic encephalitis, which is an infection of the encephalum of the nervous system. Plasmodium causes malaria, and ciliate is a human parasite that causes dysentery. So what is the difference between protozoans and animals? Do protozoans have mitochondria? Okay, that's it for this video, a shorter video, and then we're going to come back and finish up talking about helminths and other animals that are used as vectors between organisms.